Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I do weekly uploads on some of the most horrendous and mysterious cases around the world. So if you're a true crime fan like I am, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Before we get started today, I do want to take a quick second to give you guys a speculation warning. All of the information I get is from the internet, and well, we all know how that goes sometimes. I have made it a point to only get information from reliable sources, but I still want to apologize in advance if any statements are inaccurate. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into this because today's story is a good one, and for this story, we're going to San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio is a major city in south central Texas with a population of about 1.5 million people. The case we're going to talk about today is an older case, but it's an older case that I'm sure some of you guys have heard of. The minute I heard about this case about a week ago, I knew that I had to make a video on it. Mainly because this is a situation that anyone who truly loves a person could be put in, and it just goes to show how crazy people can turn when their emotions get played with, especially after they've built their whole life with someone. On October 10th of 2013, a stretch of Texas Highway 1604 became a crime scene where jealousy, rage, and impulse would intersect, leaving one in handcuffs, another in a body bag, and a mistress scratch-free. The day started innocently enough, but unfortunately, when Frances Hall was on her way home from her niece's volleyball game, that would all come to a halt. As Frances was driving up the road, she spotted her husband, Bill Hall Jr.'s customized Harley-Davidson driving down the road, and guess what? Driving right behind him was none other than his mistress, whom Frances had just found out about a month prior to this, not to mention she was driving Frances's brand new Range Rover. His mistress's name was Bonnie Contreras. So of course, after seeing what Frances just seen, her motor was revving and she was hot. Now, I can't tell you what I would do in that situation, considering this couple was together for 32 years and had built their life successfully from the ground up to become millionaires. But I can tell you that Frances decided she was going to make a U-turn and floor it. As they were going about 85 to 90 miles per hour down the highway, Frances gets right up behind her vehicle that Bonnie was driving and starts riding her tail end. Every time she would get close to that car, Bonnie would brake check her, so it was kind of like they were playing a game of cat and mouse. This little game of cat and mouse sent Frances into a deeper fit of rage. She allegedly rear-ended Bonnie somewhere around 15 times that day. But to hear Bonnie tell the story, she was just driving down the highway when all of a sudden someone hit her. She said at first she thought it was an accident until she looked in her rearview mirror and seen it was Miss Hall, who Bonnie was well aware of. In the beginning of this, Bill's motorcycle was in the very front leading, Bonnie was in the Range Rover behind him, and Frances was behind Bonnie in an Escalade. After Frances hit Bonnie a couple of times, Bonnie got thrown into oncoming traffic, and when she got straightened back out, she was now leading and Bill was behind her. But do you guys think that this stopped Frances from the mission she was on trying to get to Bonnie? Absolutely not. She's a devastated woman capable of anything at that point. As she was trying to pass Bill to get to Bonnie, she ended up sideswiping her husband on accident, but he didn't have a helmet on, and they were going about 90 miles per hour down the highway, so when she hit Bill, he went flying off of his motorcycle. Neither one of the women called 911 or even stopped to check on him after this accident. Frances just continued to hit the Range Rover, so Bonnie made a fast U-turn, almost hitting a pole trying to get away, and boom, Frances busted a U-turn right behind her. Eventually, they both end up pulling over where the accident happened to call the police, and as it was getting dark, the police showed up and Bill was taken to the hospital, where he would later pass away due to his injuries. At the scene of the accident, Frances was taken into custody where she was interrogated by the police and charged with felony murder and aggravated assault on Bonnie. When Frances was being questioned, the detective asked her why she did this, and Frances said her only intention was to make Bonnie pull over so that she could question her about knowingly having an affair with her husband. By now you may be asking, how do you know that Bonnie knew about Frances for sure? And well, I'll tell you. In the weeks leading up to this confrontation, Frances had received dozens of insulting, taunting text messages from her husband's mistress, including photos of them two having sex.
I started falling in love. I started warming up to him, warming up to his ways, to his fetishes, to his flaws. I warmed up to it all.
But privately, Bill is cooling down, telling friends he wants out of the relationship.
His closest friends will tell you he couldn't get out. He was stuck. She had taken all these little tidbits of evidence, all these compromising photos. She had weaseled her way into different facets of his life and was basically blackmailing him.
Soon things spin out of control. Bonnie calls Frances and reveals everything.
Calls a wife, tells her everything, and then in the hours that follow, here come videos of the mistress and Bill having sex. I mean, very graphic footage. Here come videos of the mistress naked with Frances's husband. Pictures of hysterectomy diagrams saying, Frances, you're broken. You're hollow from the inside. You're disgusting. No wonder Bill can't be with you. You're not even a real woman.
She also found out that when her husband did try to cut Bonnie off, she was threatening to blackmail him. So, in my opinion, there were a few reasons why Frances did what she did to this woman and why she was so upset with her, and I think that played a huge factor in her sentencing. I think if I had been married to someone since I was 16 and had been with them for 32 years, I probably would have reacted the same exact way. I mean, here you've built this life with someone and find out that part of it is based on lies, and you have another person humiliating you by sending you pictures of them having sex with your lifelong partner. That, to me, is the ultimate betrayal. Trial began for Frances on August 30th, 2016 and lasted 3 weeks before the jury found Frances guilty on both charges, which could have given her a life sentence, so I'm sure that when the judge sentenced her to 2 years due to it being considered sudden passion, she almost fell out. Frances was released from prison in September of 2018, and I really wish that we could say that the story ends here, but nope, it doesn't.
They were on her mind for the entire time she spent in prison, Frances Hall said, and her 8 grandchildren were the first to greet her. Words didn't come easy for Hall as she headed for the door to see the rest of the family.
I'm still kind of shell-shocked right now. Super shell-shocked. I can't I can't believe I'm out. If I cry, I'm in shock.
Out after serving the minimum sentence possible for murder, 2 years, day for day.
People say, don't let the time do you, you do the time. It's easier said than done. There's no way. I can't even fathom that concept.
In the fall of 2013, her SUV collided with a motorcycle her husband, local trucking magnate Bill Hall Jr., was riding. He was critically injured and died later in the hospital. Though she was convicted of running him off the road as she chased him as he followed his lover in another car, Hall maintains that it was an accident.
It's always going to be in the back of my mind. I lost my husband. I'll never get him back, so it's going to be always in the back of my mind. But I'm ready to move on.
Bonnie went on to sue Frances for $2.5 million for emotional distress, claiming that she can't even drive a car without constantly looking out the windows thinking someone is going to hit her. But if you ask me, Bonnie caused way more emotional distress to Frances. I'm going to play a portion of a video clip to show you guys how nasty of a person the mistress was. She literally wanted to cause pain and hurt, and she did just that.
I was just willing to go through it all with him. Through the ups, the downs, the divorce. What was all the mud that was going to come through it, all the hell that she was going to probably put both of us through. I loved this man.
Then, in August of 2022, Frances had more charges brought against her. This time it was for fraud. She turned herself in to Travis County after having a warrant out for her arrest since June 30th. Investigators with the Texas Department of Insurance discovered that in the years between 2009 and 2016, Frances reportedly filed false payroll information to the Texas Mutual Insurance Company and concealed payroll reports in order to get lower insurance premiums. All in all, officials said the scheme allowed the company and owners of the company to avoid over $9 million in insurance premium payments. With that being said, if Hall is convicted of the fraud charge, she could be facing another life sentence and a $10,000 fine. That is all the information I have on this case so far, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to do so. And also, leave a comment down below on how you think you would react to something like this. Okay, love you.